Hey everyone, and welcome. Ever stop to think about what the world looks like from a tiny bird's point of view? Well, today we're going to do just that, with this really cool poem, What a Bird Thought. We'll break it all down step by step so you'll feel super confident for your exams. Let's dive right in.
So, before we even read the first line, let's do a quick thought experiment. Just imagine you're a tiny little bird, you've just hatched. What's the very first thing you see? What do you think your entire world is made of? Got an idea? Okay, hold on to that thought as we get started.
Here's our game plan for today. First, we'll follow the bird on its journey. Then, we'll tackle some new words. After that, we'll wrap it all up with a summary and the moral of the story. And to finish, we'll practice a key exam question. So, let's kick things off with the bird's journey.
All right, let's follow our little bird friend as it starts to figure out the world. We're going to go through the poem part by part or stanza by stanza, and you'll see how the bird's idea of the world just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So, in the very beginning, the bird thinks its whole world is just this little house, a small, round house made of a pale blue shell. Any guesses what that is? Yep, you got it. It's the egg. For the baby bird, inside that egg is the entire universe. I mean, think about it. That just shows how limited the bird's view is at the start. Since the egg is literally the only thing it has ever known, it thinks, well, this must be everything. It's a very, very small world for our bird right now.
Okay, so what happens next? The bird hatches, and suddenly its world gets a little bit bigger. Now it's living in a cozy little nest. So what does it think the world is made of this time? Straw. Why? Well, because its whole world is the nest, and it feels all safe and warm there with its mother.
You see the pattern here, right? The bird's world grew from an egg to a nest, but it's still super small. It has no idea about the massive world that's waiting just outside.
And now, for the big moment. Our brave little bird flutters out of the nest and sees something totally new for the first time. It sees leaves everywhere. And wow, this discovery changes absolutely everything for the bird.
So now, of course, the bird thinks the world must be made of leaves. But look at that last line. It says, I have been very blind. This is so important. It's the first time the bird realizes that its old ideas were wrong. This is a massive step in its learning journey.
This right here, this is the most important part of the whole poem. It's that aha moment. Realizing you were wrong about something isn't a bad thing at all. It's actually how you start to learn the truth. This is the bird's big light bulb moment.
And finally, our little bird is all grown up. It's strong enough to fly far beyond its home tree, out into the big, wide-open sky. So, what does it think the world is made of now? Well, it finally decides that it actually doesn't know.
And this is just beautiful, isn't it? It's the final lesson. The more the bird sees, the more it understands just how much it doesn't know. Real wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing that there's always, always more to discover. Awesome! Now that we've followed the bird's amazing journey, let's switch gears and look at some important words from the poem. Knowing what these mean will definitely help you score better in your exams.
First up, we have pale. Remember that line, made of pale, blue shell? Pale just means something is light in color, not dark or bright. So, a light blue shell. In Hindi, we'd say halka rang.
Next is fluttered. The poem says, one day I fluttered from my nest. This word perfectly describes those short, quick wing movements of a baby bird trying to fly for the first time. Think of it as put-putana.
Now this one, at length, is a phrase. It might look a little tricky, but it just means after a long time or finally. So when the poem says, at length I flew beyond the tree, it means the bird finally flew far away when it was all grown up.
And our last word is labor. The bird was fit for grown-up labors. This just means it was ready for the hard work of being an adult bird. You know, finding food, building a nest. It basically means mehnat or hard work. Okay, let's put all the pieces together. We're going to do a quick summary of the bird's journey and figure out the main message or the moral of the poem. This is perfect for a last-minute revision before your exam. So in a nutshell, here's the story. The bird's world starts out as just an egg. Then it gets bigger. It's a nest made of straw. Then it gets even bigger. It's the leaves on a tree. And finally, its world becomes the huge, endless sky. A world so big the bird admits it has no idea what it's really made of.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's a simple idea, but it's super powerful. What we think is the whole world is often just our own small little shell. To really learn and grow, we have to be like this bird. We have to be brave enough to step out of our comfort zone, to explore, and to understand that there is always more to learn.
All right, time to put all this knowledge to the test. Let's work through a very common question from this chapter to make sure you're totally ready for your exams.
Okay, here's the question. I want you to think all the way back to the first stanza of the poem. Why did the bird believe its world was just a small, round, and blue shell? Take a second to think about it.
Here's how you can build the perfect answer for full marks. It's super simple. Point number 1, the bird's first home was an egg. Point number 2, describe that egg. The shell was small, round, and pale blue. And the most important part, point 3, the bird had never seen anything else. So since that was all it knew, it just assumed that was the entire world. Easy, right?
And that's our whole journey through what a bird thought. I'm going to leave you with one last question to think about. We all have our own pale blue shells, right? Things we believe are the absolute truth, until we learn something new. What was one of your shells, and what helped you see the bigger world outside of it? Thanks for joining me today, and all the best with your studies.